to understand someone with dementia, you need to take an interest in them. You need to have more of an interest in them than you have in yourself for the time that you are with them. So you need to take an interest in or observe their expression, their eye contact, their gestures, their socialization with others, their emotional state, whether they're happy or depressed or upset. And then, of course, in terms of their physical health, read the clinical notes, ask the doctor, the charge nurse, the carer, how it is that your relative is going, and take a full interest in their physical health along with all these other aspects. Now, with that as well, in terms of being able to understand the dementia resident, the important thing in terms of taking an interest in them is asking them questions. It's really important to question them. Ask their opinion. What do they think? For example, if your mother's sitting there, in the sun by the television, looking out the window, and you haven't been able to get any communication going with her verbally, but you've been doing your best, you've given her the family news and the update and the general news happening in the city, etc., but still nothing's really happening. So finally you say to her, look, Mum, what is it that you're interested in? And if she says sun, like S-U-N, will actually clarify that. You can say, well, what sun do you mean, Mum? And she points out the window to the sun shining in, meaning the sun, the glorious golden sun. That's a fantastic start to the equation of being able to understand your mother. The sun, Mum. Right, okay, we can do a lot with that. Now we're just going to sit here in the sun, enjoy the sun. There's 2 seats for us here. We can have a cup of tea and a cake and a muffin, and we'll just sit in the sun as long as it takes. The sun's going to be in this position in the sky for the next half hour, shining on us, so we can enjoy that. Mum smiles. Okay, so that's actually a really good place to start, the sun, because then you can say, look, Mum, I know that your room is not getting enough sun. It's not north facing. We couldn't get those nice north facing rooms with the sun coming in. But what we're going to do is the next available north facing room, I'll put you on the waiting list to get that so that you can have sun coming into your room. Good, she says. Okay, so that's a big start. You've got it sorted now that you understand she likes the sun. You're going to get a room with the sun shining in. And the third thing, now, Mum, another thing we can do is, how about going out for a walk in the sun? Good. Would you like that? Yes. Okay, so now she's communicating because it's all connected with the sun. Her interest, she loves the sun. So you can organise lots of outings. I mean, even in the winter, on a winter's day, you can go out in the sun, all rugged up. That's good, Mum. It's winter now, which is not that great for the temperature-wise, but we can put on your jacket, get your scarf sorted, get your mittens on, and go out for a walk in the wheelchair if you like, if you don't want to walk with the walker. Would you like to go in the wheelchair? Yes. Okay, well, let's go for a walk then in the sun shining now. Fantastic. We've got that clarified. So off you go for a walk in the sun. So that's how, just by asking your mother what it is she's interested in, you can get that key topic of the sun and work with that. You can have lovely walks, sit in the sun, get a room in the sun, and everything's nice and sunny for your mother. So asking questions of dementia residents is really important, and it's not really done enough. I was at the dementia unit I was working at. There was a lovely woman there, a bright lady and well-spoken, but she was quiet and she didn't speak very much. And I asked her one day why it was that she didn't communicate, because when she did, she was clear. And she said that people don't ask us questions. No one ever asks me a question. No one ever asks me my opinion. Gosh, I was really saddened by that. such a lovely lady, and she had so much to offer. And she was very matter-of-fact about it. You know, she knew it was because of the dementia that people thought that she couldn't think, and so therefore they didn't ask her questions. And she was a bright lady. She managed her dementia really well and was very supportive of the group. She said, saying that dementia was, you know, with the memory blanks, that it will pass and don't give it power. And she was very supportive of the other residents when they were having stress episodes with dementia. She'd sit by them and reassure them. So that was a, you know, a very astute example of how bright she was, but people didn't realize she was bright because they didn't ask her questions, and because of that she just shut down. She felt, well, if people aren't going to ask me my opinion and don't consider it worth giving or listening to, then I won't give it. And sometimes this can happen with dementia residents, is that they shut down because people aren't asking them their opinion or asking them to contribute conversationally. And then, of course, they lose the skills to be able to communicate as well. Because, I mean, you need to keep communicating to keep those skills. So in terms of understanding dementia residents, really, you have to have an interest in the person. I mean, it's like that with any form of communication. You have to have an interest in the person. It's just the same with dementia. I've always actually enjoyed working with elderly people since my 20s, when I was a physiotherapist for most of my working life. And I've always enjoyed working with elderly people. So to work with people with dementia, to me, it was just like another diagnosis. That diagnosis being that they had memory loss. So it was just another thing to work around, you know. Settling pain's a challenge. And I worked with that most of my career, reducing pain, helping people reduce pain. And as I saw it with dementia, it wasn't so much about reducing pain, but reducing mental stress. And so I was very keen to be able to try and help these people manage the situation so that they could have a better quality of life. So I was inspired by that. But we all have our own inspiration and interest. And it's important to be able to activate that interest within ourselves to be able to become interested in these dementia residents, so that then they can contribute and communicate. And questioning is a very good way to go about this. And even if it's just a one-word reply, that's great. You can work on that and just build it through activities like sitting in the sun, building it into outdoor activities like going in for a walk in the sun, etc. So thank you very much for your support and all your likes and interest and comments coming in. It's fantastic. I've written these 2 books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, to outline all these aspects that I've been going into in these videos. These videos, very much I'm giving the theory behind the practical, but I'm also now doing videos on TikTok about Granny and the granddaughter and practical aspects of helping people with dementia. And I've just started on YouTube, mother and daughter, and practical aspects to work through with dementia. They're like caricatures. So they're putting in place all the practical points, but without the theory, which is what these videos do, going into more depth and detail. So thank you, and please subscribe if you find this channel of interest and pass on to the others. Thank you.